court, just so we have it in the video. Is anyone in chat against the 3-team thing in Shiyu Defense? Yes or no? Before you answer why, I just want to hear yes or no, because I want to see something. I want to see something, right? And then we get like maybe a tally for it, like who says yes. I don't know, but I'll be right back. I came back with my bottle of water. A bottle of water, chat. I'm here now. I gotta scroll all the way back up. Okay, so we got a couple. Angel, you said yes. I don't want to say yes. I don't want anyone to feel like called out, because I'm gonna ask you why. I'm gonna ask you why, just because I want to. This is what I want to kind of start the video off. Don't mind 3 teams. Solar, you said yeah. Massey, you said yeah. JC, you said yeah. Toffrey, not a problem. No, because I didn't start this game 2 days ago. Okay. Y'all see all that cake? Yo, chill on me, bro. Chill on me, man. I got a flat booty. Okay, I got a box butt. Yes, make us diversify. Kindred, wait, so are you against it or for it? I'm not against 3 teams. I am against sharing. Old Shiyu is different because you rarely use the same archetype, both sides, so you can share easily. With 3, you're gonna repeat archetypes, so not sharing is hard. And Nori, that's not true. I'll talk about that in a bit. Yes, if we can share gear. Brad, you said yes. Okay, so here's what I'll do, because I can't figure out anyone else after that point. So now that you guys have answered yeah, right, or no, for anyone that said yes, can you tell me why you're against the 3-team thing? Like, why don't you like the 3-team thing? And you can get as descriptive as you need to, because I want to point something out. I really do want to point something out, and I'm gonna open my game for it. So I guess what I want to do first is kind of address a couple things. I did take some screenshots of some stuff. You guys can keep talking and giving your opinions as well. I'm just going to pull these screenshots up real quick so we can kind of look at them together. Are you tired of losing? Are you tired of losing those 50-50s to bullshit? Well, don't worry, big dog. I got just the deal. Let me show you a popular website that helps gamers buy more for less. Not only can you score games for less, but they've also gotten a partnered top-up services, meaning you can buy your pulls cheaper too.
Oh, that's nice.
On top of that, Aniba offers something else I haven't seen any other site do: a 10% cash back with each purchase. Now I get cheaper pulls and my money back. But wait, there's more. Using my link in the description box will get you all set up to start saving more money today. Now get out there and go pull that new character. If I come over here and we talk about this just briefly, Lightning, you mentioned that you're not a fan of 3 teams because it feels more restrictive for the budget. You need to pull a lot of units as is, and making it 3 teams only forces you to pull everything under the sun. I think this is the part where I see a lot of other players feel the same way, and I don't agree. I've never really agreed, but I don't agree. So let me kind of point out why, right? I have an EU account that I just started, right? This is what I have so far. I haven't gotten my S rank from the 40, and I'm still in chapter 1. That means I haven't done any events. I haven't unlocked all of the free characters. I haven't gotten all the free W engines, like nothing. You start with Nicole, Billy, and Ambi. This is already one team. Even if you didn't want to use this team, it's still one team that everyone gets in the game. And so now we also have Zhao and Corrin and Ben. I'm not saying this team works together. I'm just saying these are 3 other characters that we get for free. You're pulling on banners, you're bound to get something, right? You can't pull on a banner and get nothing. You can't just get no characters. So now we get into like team building. I can't use the team building function yet because I haven't unlocked the presets. But like I said, I don't really like playing Billy, so I've been playing Corrin. Now I can play Corrin, Zhao, and Pokra. That's one team. I can play Corrin, Ambi, and Nicole. I can play Corrin, Ambi, and Rena. If I end up getting Rena, I hope I don't, but if I do, it's whatever. I can play Corrin, Pokra, and Nicole, which is what I've been doing on this account, right? And I only just got Pokra last night trying to go for Ye Shun Wong, just a couple pulls. I didn't get Ye Shun Wong, but I did get Pokra. So when you guys are saying things like, right, like I don't have 3 teams, a player doesn't have 3 teams. That's kind of why I mentioned it in my video before, where I said, I understand this from a player's perspective if they started back in like August or October, right? A brand new player or relatively new player, yeah, they're not going to have 3 teams. They're not going to have the gear. They're not going to have W engines. Like, but at that point, right, like the shorthand version of that is that they're just not ready for in-game. You can play it, but you're not ready for in-game. Like your account is physically not prepared for in-game. It's okay that you're not ready for in-game yet. In-game's not going anywhere. But at the same time, we just talked about it earlier, right? The difference between a gamer and a gacha player. A lot of gacha players are conditioned, right? It's just been a tale of time, I guess. You only care about the pool. So everything related to premium currency, you only think about how do I get the premium currency and nothing else matters. Whether or not that premium currency is supposed to be earned, not given, most gacha players just don't care. They don't care if it's supposed to be earned or not, because it's never going to be justified to them, right? It's always me, mine, take. So I bring this up, right? Brand new account. You guys see what I'm working with. We just saw Anton clear with Rin, and he did, again, it did not have to take him 16 hours, 17 hours to do. He literally just wanted to do it a certain way. He did it. So if I progressively play through this account, and even if I get this here, right? Where are we at? I have 8 pulls at 30. I don't really want to do this, but like I can rip a 10 pull right now and I might get my S rank early, right? We're not, because the game hates me no matter what. So I'm not getting my S rank. I got another Anby, not a new character, but another Anby. If I'm building my account, this kind of tells me, right? I might have to just use Anby. And there's a big difference between you not having something and you choosing not to use the thing on your account. You have means available to you, but you choose not to use them. I think if more players started to say that, if more players started to, instead of saying like, I don't have, they say, I don't want to use blank. Yo, Cash, exactly. The existence of Nicole would absolutely make that. And I'm not really trying to convince you that you shouldn't like it, right? Like you can absolutely like it if you want to, but you can absolutely not like it, right? I don't want to be the guy to convince you like to change your mind. Like you should absolutely like this. What I am saying though, is like, maybe if you change the way you said it, this would be a little bit more understandable, right? From a lot of different people. And so what ends up happening here, like I said, I'm pulling, I'm getting whatever. Now going through the motion, as we can see here, I'm guaranteed to get an S rank, a character. It's guaranteed. So whatever I get is what I'm gonna have to work around. If I get Colada or Lycan, I'm gonna have to work around that. Even if it sucks, I have to work around that, right? Because in this current point of my account, this is where a player could say, I don't have anything else. I don't have 3 teams. At most, I could make 2, thanks to the fact that we got Zhao for free. Other than that, I do not have 3 teams. Mind you, I'm just not ready for endgame, but if somebody's account was at level 60 with characters like this, then yeah, you don't have anything. But this isn't what a typical player's account would look like once they breach that level 45 to level 50. They're not going to be at this point in the game. They're gonna have something, you know? So it's a little different, right? But that would be like what I would say with Lightning, right? It's like, it's not that you don't have 3 teams. And I'm almost positive Lightning, I guarantee you, if I got on your account right now, you have 3 teams. Unless you're brand new, which I feel like you're not. But the only reason I'm saying that is because I've had to account check people over the course of this week, not to be malicious or anything like that, just to kind of like genuinely, I wanted to see it. So many people on Twitter were responding to my tweets about the threshold, or not threshold, the new Shiyu, and they were saying the same thing. Like, I don't have 3 teams. Tons of players don't have 3 teams. It's impossible. I would get on their account and there was one guy, and you know, no shade to him, because it wasn't that he didn't have 3 teams. He just said like he couldn't build them. He didn't know what to build to clear. When I tell you this guy had almost every S rank in the game, maxed out, level 60, fully built, whatever, he just didn't know. But one of the things that he was saying was like, he didn't have 3 teams, or he didn't know 3 teams to be able to tackle the new Shiyu defense. So I'm like, yo, show me your roster. Let me help, right? Because like, that's all I'm trying to do. Let me help. I look at his account and I'm like, brother, you got it all. For room 1, you got 2 to 3 different team options right here. Room 2, you got 2 to 3 right here. Room 3, you got 2 to 3 right here. So I guarantee you, right, Lightning, if I looked at your account, you have 3 teams. Now, whether or not you chose to build them is different. And this, again, this is what I think players would just have to kind of like come to terms with. Alexandra, if we move over to what you said real quick, for me, it's not for a specific issue, it's for locking gear, right? So we talked about locking gear, and you mentioned how in Deadly Assault, it does allow for gear sharing in like a very unorthodox way, but it still does it. But in the old Shiyu defense, gear locking wasn't really a factor because you only had 2 teams and like whatever. And so it's like, okay, if this was the case, and hold on, Lightning did respond before I continue with Alexandra. I have 4 teams, that's not the issue. The issue I see in the new Shiyu is the way they make timers separate between all teams. Oh, like 5, wait, Lightning, hold on, timeout. Brother, that's not the same sentence. Why did you do that? Yo, Lightning, this is not what you just said. What I asked you earlier, this is the response you gave me. Now you're telling me it's a different response. What are we doing? But I guess if I were to approach what you just said, right? And you were like, yo, it's the fact that you have separate timers. So, and I'll jump on my actual account to be able to like look into that, right? And like show what I'm talking about. You have separate timers because each team plays differently. And this goes into, again, a multitude of videos that I've been talking about before. One of the things that I realized about the player base in Zenless, like that 70% that we're talking about, right? They don't know the basics of team building. And maybe I shouldn't say basics. You guys don't know more than the basics of team building. A lot of them don't know team building basics in general, but a good chunk of that just have no idea what to do beyond Billy, Anby, Nicole. And even then, some of you guys don't know what to do with Anby. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, and this is the most basic team, right? Anby, Billy, and Nicole. But some of you guys don't even know how to use Anby. And it's not because she's hard. You just didn't take the time to learn Anby. Or you just, you know, right? Like that's really it. You just didn't take the time to learn Anby. And so when you look at it, what'll end up happening is you'll probably end up doing something like this. Billy, Nicole, and Lucy. Or Billy, Nicole, and Caesar, which most people still don't know how to play Caesar. And then Billy, Nicole, or where's baby girl? Astra. A lot of you guys play these teams that are pride winified. I'll say that. Y'all play them as if they're very pride winified. You have to reason they don't know how to play characters. Yeah, to a degree, right? You guys don't know how to find that information. And so characters have a base, you know, we have the skill. It tells us how to play the character. And yeah, these are getting a little longer, sure. But they still tell you the basics of how to play them. Now, I will tell you straight up, it'll pop up down here if you own the character, the tutorial. Any tutorial post 1.4 is dick. It's not good. It's not good at all. They don't teach you anything except how to press 2 buttons with the character. And then we're wondering, oh my God, like why don't people know how to play these new characters? It's because the game, that's what I meant earlier. The game has just dog shit tutorials to get you beyond the basics. Post 1.4, because think about it, right? Pre 1.4, the tutorials actually tried to give you something. If you go into these character pages, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, different little tutorials that they would try and teach you within that, right? In the character demo, there's 1 through 4 kind of things. So a lot of that is going on and whatnot. When we're moving past this point, Corin's tutorial is solid. Anby's tutorial, very bare bones, very basic, solid. And yeah, Hugo's tutorial makes sense because that motherfucker only presses 1 button. So it is what it is, right? But everything post 1.4 is just dick, guys. But anyway, we're done with that part. Let me go over here and then get to what Alexandra said. And Alexandra, if you want to repost what you were saying to Arsene, then I can look at that too. But you mentioned that the gear locking was a little problematic, right? Let me hop onto my account real quick so I can show that difference there. The devs don't even know how to play each character in each team. Facts. I got a comment the other day on Twitter and they were like, and I don't think they meant anything like mean by it, but they were like, you know, I'm sure that the developers know their game a lot more than you do. And I'm like, you might be right. So why is it that we as advanced or veteran players, right? The fighting game players, if you will, how come we discovered tech in the game that the developers didn't know was in the game? Like, how come we've developed things and how to play certain characters like Mono Ice? The developers had no intentions of Mono Ice ever being a thing with Miyabi. They didn't think of that. They didn't test that, because if they did, it would not have existed. Mono Ice was broken for an entire year. It's still broken, but Mono Ice was the team for an entire year. You think they made that on purpose? No. So I thought that was funny when the guy was like, they know their game more than you do. And I'm like, what's that Knuckles meme? I don't know. Approved. I don't know. Like, that's how I felt about that. So we go over here, right? I'm in my account now. Let me show y'all real quick, just so we can kind of see, right? Alexandra mentioned the gear thing, which to be fair, and I am on my account. So my account does have things like dolphin, whale, whatever you want to call it, spending money. Not a big deal. I pretty much own everything, but I want to point out something. Let's just kind of look at this as if I were building the teams all over again. So I'm going to come all the way down here. Mo, what the f were you doing with all my, oh my gosh, bro, you got to get some help. We got to get you off of this shit. All right. So Minato was free. We're not going to include right now because Minato was free. So let's just go off this fact first. First team would be the basic team in the game. We have Billy or Corin, right? Because they're both free. Pick whoever you want. We have Anby and we have Nicole, right? Boom, this is the first team. This is already team 1. The Cunning Hares also released, they cleared Shiyu Defense and Daily Assault with the Cunning Hares, which means it's still possible to clear in-game with the basic team in the game, right? The Ryu and Ken of the game. You can still clear it. It will take you more work, obviously, because you're using the free-to-play very first thing in the game. I gave that analogy way back in the, it wasn't way back in the, like 2 streams ago. And I said that, you know, if you're, it's like going up against the Elite Four with a Caterpie, you're gonna have to do way more work than if you went up against the Elite Four with like a Blastoise, right? So now we'll go on to the next team, which would have been Minato. So Minato is here. How do we work with Minato? From a free-to-play perspective, let's just add in some options. We have Pokra. If we weren't gonna use, and then Panda was free. So I'm gonna lock in Pan immediately. I'm gonna lock in Pan immediately because Pan was free at one point. So like if you just weren't playing to get Pan, that's outside of anybody's control except your own. Like no one can go backwards in time to give you what you're looking for. Now let's look at our options. These are both free to play characters, brand free. They gave them to you, which means a normal free to play situation, you would have picked up Dialin, you would have picked up Lucia, you would have picked up Trigger, right? You have options. You would have picked up Jafufu. Let's go with Fufu. She had a rerun around this time as well. You said Panda was never free? Yes, he was. Panda had to have been free. Pan wasn't free? Yo, y'all are correcting me right now. Hold on, I don't like that. But Pan wasn't free? What came with Panda then? We got Ishwin, right? Jafufu was here. Who was free? No. Panda came way before Minato. Was it Pokra came at the same time as Panda? You guys are thinking too far ahead. You guys are way too far ahead. Go back to the beginning of 2025. Minato was not here. There is no Minato at the time of me talking about this. It was Pokra. Pokra was before Panda. That's what I'm thinking too. So what happened with Panda? Panda was only on Ishwin's banner. I feel like Panda was free. No, I don't think it was a selector. Was it? He was banner locked? Okay. So then let's swap it up then. Let's go with the new 2 options. Chat, go ahead and pick for me. For our second team, are we using Pokra or are we using Coleta? And because we were gonna use Jafufu, now we're not. Coleta just happened to be one of the free standards that we got, right? Boom, Coleta. So now we have Minato, Coleta, Lucia. That's a good team. That's a good free-to-play accessible team, right? So now we get into the third team. We have an attack team. We have a rupture team. Let's go with Anomaly, right? And now we're looking for Anomaly or another rupture. Everyone and their mama keeps talking about fucking Miyabi, right? So is it fair to say that most players have Miyabi? I know she has the highest usage rate, or not usage. Miyabi has the highest ownership rate in the entire player base. So I feel like that's fair for us to say, right? That somebody would own a Miyabi if we're looking at who has what teams. Where did Lucia come from? Well, we pulled her because look at this, right? Free to play doesn't mean never pull a day in your life. So if we had the base team of Billy, Ambi and Nicole, the Cunning Hares, then our next team consisted of free characters as well. Minato, Coleta we got from our 40 pull standard. That's what chat wanted to do instead of Pokra. At some point we would have pulled, right? Like we would have pulled something to complete a team. And this is kind of the problem, right? One of the problems with like people or players doing team building, motherfuckers keep pulling shit that they don't need. Like, okay, let's say that you didn't pull Lucia for whatever reason. And instead of pulling Lucia, you pulled fucking Yidhari. So now you're sitting here with no Lucia, no Jafufu, no Dylan, no Trigger, and no Panda. But you pulled Yidhari, right? Or like pulling Vivian, right? So like, let's say that a player, instead of pulling Miyabi, you went for Vivian because she has a swimsuit. Where's your team? No Piper, no Astra, no Lucy, because apparently you didn't play year 1. And no Zena, apparently they can't do Panda because Panda wasn't free. So I can't put Panda there. Panda was a rate up on Yidhari's banner. Okay, so now you have Panda. Let's go with that then. You went with Yidhari and Panda, right? Now your 3 teams are 2 rupture teams that share the same characters or share the same support. You can't do that. Lycan was a standard selector in the 2.0, right? But see, look, if they didn't play at the beginning of last year, they also don't have the new standard selector. They don't have the new standard selector. So what we doing here? There's too many different factors to like try and assess what the average player doesn't have. That's what makes it dumb. You said Lucy with Minato, Lycan, and Yidhari. They don't have Lucy. They weren't there for the free Lucy. It's impossible to look at somebody's account or as a collective and say everyone has these things. At most, they would have Sokaku. So what I'm saying is, based off somebody starting the game brand new and going to the point from brand new up to like level 45, level 50. Zena, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. In order for you to get to pulling from the shop, you have to pull. So at some point they would have had to made some decisions to get what they're looking for. So why would you, as if you're trying to go for in-game, I'll put it this way. If your first team is Cunning Hairs and your second team would be Minato, right? Because he was free, Coleta, because you already had it. Why would you not complete Minato? You would complete this team by going for Lucia. Or, as you mentioned before, let's just say Panda. Let's go with Panda, because what they would have done was they pulled for Yidhari and now they have Panda. So now you have two, and I'll even do you a solid. I'll say that they have Poker as well, because Poker was free within this time period, right? And we're talking about preparing for Shiyu Defense. You can't use these two teams, right, in Shiyu Defense. You can't even share it. And so now we get into a different requirement. Minato has his engine, which is free. Where's Yidhari's engine? She doesn't have a valid free-to-play engine until what, now? So you'd be forced to use Puzzle Sphere, which is honestly is really not that bad for her now that I'm looking at it. So yeah, you know what? Never mind. Puzzle Sphere. If they pulled for Yidhari, they have pulled us for or whatever to get a Lucy. Okay, so now you're saying, right? So you're saying this. They pop on Lucy. This team doesn't help Minato. You know what I'm saying? Actually, it does because Coleta and Lucy. So no. Lucy having, hold on. That's not what I meant, Alexandra, about like they don't help unless they changed it. Okay, crit rate and crit damage, that's still for her boars. Yeah, no. Look, I'm referring to what Lucy provides, the attack buff. Lucy doesn't do anything for this guy. She's not doing anything for this guy. Now we're building bad teams. So where are we getting here? Attack converts into 25% sheer damage? Okay, let's go with that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, we're done. If we use that, we're done, right? We have our 3 teams. I won't even argue against it anymore. So if we do that, then these are the 3 teams, right? So we have successfully created 3 teams by only pulling on 1 limited character banner. Yes or no? Yeah? Okay. So we've done this. We've successfully built 3 teams by only pulling on 1 limited banner. Where are the rest of the pulls? No. Ignore Vivian. Vivian, we didn't. Chat went for double rupture instead of anomaly. So we don't even have the Vivian. So we built our 3 teams. This is going to help us clear all content in the game based off whatever it is that we're looking for. No anomaly. Now, this is a great example, right? Because chat, we all just did this together. We being y'all. This is a great example of what I was talking about when it comes to managing accounts. If you already had a rupture team being Minato, and Minato can comfortably clear most rupture content in the game, if not all, why would you build a second rupture team knowing that you don't have anomaly or even a stronger attack team? Instead of covering your bases because you care about in-game, you decided to f yourself by shooting yourself in the foot. Even though Yidhari's strong, we fight an anomaly boss. What are we doing? Putting strong emphasis on average player, plus we're talking about a relatively new account. Wouldn't a scuffed / incomplete team be a compromise at the start as they're building? So we're not actually talking about a relatively new player. We're talking about a player that would have been able to climb up from level 1 all the way up to about level 45, level 50, right? At some point, they would have had to take some courses of action to get to these points, right? And so we kind of planned out what they could do here and there. I let chat pick the decisions, what they would do here and there. Realistically, you would have enough pulls to get 3 to 4 more limited items, whether that be engines or characters. So for the sake of whatever, and even in Yidhari's case, right, Puzzle Sphere works on her, so you wouldn't have really had a reason to go for her W engine. You could have just used Puzzle Sphere. So there is room to have built an anomaly team in the event the player decided to do that, right? But chat didn't do that. Chat wanted another rupture team. So now we're here. My point that I'm getting at and why this was a good example for you guys to participate in, this is how players are operating. And then we get to the audacity of complaining about what we can or can't do. Zena, you said why pull anomaly if anomaly was being anti-shield? Because we still have anomaly bosses. This isn't Star Rail. Like, they're not just completely shutting out anomaly like they shut out Super Break, right? Until we get things that are just straight up no anomaly. You cannot build anomaly at all. Nothing works. Until that happens, we can't say that they're pushing away Anomaly, it's done, because that's not what's happening. And then even with the anti-shilling, right, or the anti-anomaly shilling that has happened, it's never really been anti-anomaly. As I've said before, it's always been anti-mono ice, anti-freeze. Anomaly has consistently been a part of every single Deadly Assault and Shiyu Defense rotation since they've introduced it into the game. Even though Fiend is a bitch and I don't like her, a lot of people don't like her, this is still Anomaly based. We come over into Deadly Assault. Jester is here very frequently. This boss is here frequently. This boss up here is a neutral boss. You can beat Covenant Guardian with whatever the f you want. Attack, Anomaly, or Rupture. Favored for Anomaly, but can be beaten by Attack or Rupture. We don't really have an electric or physical Rupture, but y'all get what I'm saying. And then Rupture, but can also be beaten with Anomaly. So we can't really say it's like anti anything, because that's just not true. But as you mentioned that, right, Zenna? A lot of players are under that concept. They're under that same like mentality because of all the shit they hear online. Oh, Miyabi's being hard counter. Miyabi's not tier 0. She's tier 0.5. I have to work for my kill. I have to work for my win in in-game. Oh no. Oh no. How dare they? I've never played a gacha game that makes me work for anything. That's not right. We should tell the developer. Players are conditioning, or rather being conditioned to think that way. So they end up in a situation like this. If I were in this situation, even if I did go for Yidhari, which I probably wouldn't have done, I would have gone for Usaid for Ishwin if I were going to do anything in this particular case. But if I were in this situation, what I would have done was I would have went for Lucia, knowing that I really don't need her engine. I just need Lucia. Then I would have went for any anomaly of choice. Let's just say, right, Miyabi's being anti-shield and I'm a player that doesn't want to play mono ice. Sure. I would have picked up Alice. I would have went for, if not for Yuzuha, right? Because maybe I can't get Yuzu. So I would have kept what I had, which would have been what? Pokra? Any choice of Vivian, Nagi, or Bernice. Any one of these. I probably would have went with Nagi. And if I didn't go for Alice, let's just say maybe I don't get super lucky, right? I would have aimed for whatever gave me Piper. And this would have been my team. This would have been my 3 teams. And I would have used these 3 teams to accomplish whatever I could while building a new attack team. And so that might have looked like, right? Because now we have the opportunity to do that. Ye Shun Wang. Everyone is guaranteed Ye Shun Wang. If you play the fucking game during her banner, you're guaranteed to get Ye Shun Wang, like period. So no one can say, oh, I lost a 50-50, so I couldn't get it. You're guaranteed, play the fucking game. So if I would have been able to play the game up to this point, I would have been building my next attack team, which just happens to be the most ridiculous character in the game. They also gave me her current best partner for free with the materials to level her up to level 40 for free. Then I would have put my already invested Nicole onto the team and I'd be done. I would be done. And obviously, like this is completely different, right? This goes on to a whole different skew of like who's doing what, how they're doing it, so on and so forth. But my main point about all of it is that players keep saying I don't have, and that's just not true. It's not that you don't have it, it's that you don't want to use it. Perfect example of this is all that bullshit that happened with the anomaly stuff. I feel like I'm forced to pull Seed, Orphe, Sanbi, Yidhari, right? Anything. And it's like, okay, so are you saying you don't have an electric attacker as somebody that's been playing since year 1? No, I don't have an electric attacker. That's a little different because we have an Anton almost guaranteed if you're playing from year 1. And I know we have a Haramasa. So it's not that you don't have it, it's that you don't want to play it. And then that's where we get into, maybe you should just say, I don't want to do this thing. Cool. And that's a completely different statement that nobody can take from you. EO, why's your Lucy level 17? Lucy's so good. She's so awesome. She's the free-to-play hero. She's the free-to-play savior. Why's your Lucy level 17? EO, you have Anomaly. You have Anomaly. Why's your Piper level 15? Why Piper level 15? She's so good. She's better than Jane. Why Piper 15? I don't want to play them. It's not that I don't have them. It's not that I don't think they're good. It's not that I don't think they're useful. I don't want to play them. So I don't build them. I build characters that I want to play. And then my reasoning is that's it. Oh, well, you don't have this thing. Like if I came across something where I needed Piper, I'm just going to build Piper. Like, but that's in the event I needed it because I don't have anything else. If I had no anomaly characters, right? I ain't got shit. All I have is the option of Piper. I'm gonna just build Piper because Piper's best free to play option, right? We have it. Lucy. Piper Lucy. And then I can fit, right? Because now we have the full free to play function. Boom. Boom. I'd be done. I'd be done. Just like that. I'd be done. If I were gonna do something, you know what I mean? Like if I were gonna do something, that's what I would do. I don't know, man. I try my best not to go through like what everyone could be doing and why they should do it, I guess. It's just one of those things where instead of looking for excuses and whatnot, we just play the game and you work with what you got. That's really all it is. But I don't know, man. I don't know. This video is all over the place. I don't even know if it's gonna be a video. It's just kind of like me thinking about whatever, right? Talking about it, all that kind of stuff. But I don't know, man. I'm chilling. It's the whole mode, like Shiyu Defense, right? And this is why I hate that it spread around the way that it did. It's not about front-loaded damage and like it just being bad, because this left a first impression and a very bad first impression.